Hey everybody, it's Jen. I just wanted to do a garden tour for everybody. I haven't done that yet. I also want to do it for me and for everybody else. I did a few experiments in the garden this year, so just want to document it so I don't forget over the winter. Um, Started this row has got some zucchini in it, and is disgusting. There are so many squash bugs, and then I have these disgusting bugs everywhere. And I've tried a lot to kill them, but they're all over these zucchinis. Look at, they're like in these disgusting, like, groups. Oh, it's so gross. It makes me want to throw up. So there are some nice zucchinis in there, but I'm not touching those plants. This next plant also is funky. Ugh, yuck. And then this one getting some blooms, but I don't see any zucchinis. There's a nice one I'll pick later today. There's two on this plant, and they're so deformed. They got like these gross lumps on them, so I don't know if there's bugs in there. Probably pods of those bugs. Ugh, so I won't pick those. So yeah, these zucchini plants just are getting kind of gross. There's a lot of weeds. For the zucchinis, what I did was, there's a lot of zucchinis in here, yeah, but I'm not picking them. There's a nice one under here. Maybe I'll get that one later. Under here, there's a big one in there too. That's a very nice looking one. I haven't seen as many of those bugs over here as down at the end. But underneath these I have the weed barrier and then straw on top of them. So, it seemed to work okay, but I couldn't really get to the edges. So I do have a lot of weeds along the edges. And I was trying to save on the weed barrier, so under some of this, there's cardboard. This was interesting. I had thrown a lot of weeds right here, and they're just like totally broke down, so there's not really anything left here. And not much is growing on top of it, which gives me hope for my pile I'm starting over there. I'll show you that in a little while. Here I have cabbage. Beautiful. Other than all the bugs, you can see there's just a million little bug holes in them. But we've eaten some, a couple friends have eaten some, and they are absolutely delicious. Maybe it's the bugs. Not just kidding. I don't know, but have picked a few, and the ones we've eaten have been delicious. So this is good. Again, I used the weed barrier stuff, and kept the weeds mostly out of the cabbage, but it just grows along the edges so much. So I'm hoping to next year maybe do a little wider, maybe even use weed barrier and have a little walk area between the rows. I'm definitely doing things totally different next year. These are tomato plants. There's a lot of them. These look like the indeterminate type. I did not have enough cages for these or trellises, so they're a mess. They're just like one great big blob with thousands of tomatoes on them. Good looking tomatoes. I mean, they look nice and everything. But like these, the last time there was a storm, this whole pile like just tipped over. So it's just like a big pile of tomato plants laying there. Next year, I definitely need to not grow tomatoes unless I have tomato towers for them. Here's kale. It is doing great here by itself. There's two of them, but I picked a bunch yesterday and dried it, which worked really great. But there's a lot of worms on them too. Ugh, I hate bugs. And then I have this awesome jalapeno plant here. Look at all these. There's like tons of them in there. There's got to be like 20 on this. Okay, so you can't really see them. There's got to be like 20 on there. And then I have this, which we think is a mustard kale plant. No idea. And then this, look at this, beautiful, beautiful weeds. That's all this is, weeds. I had broccoli growing in here, See, there's the broccoli in there. I see a little tiny, oh, I see a little teeny tiny one in there. Maybe I'll pick that eventually. So there's a couple broccoli in here, but for the most part, this is just a mess. It's just, the green weeds just grow so fast here, it's ridiculous. Then they have pumpkins, which kind of are doing great. They're all here, going over in by the horses there. See, there's the horses, so they might eat my pumpkins over there, but that's okay. See, here's a big one. You can see that. There's a lot of pumpkins in here. They are doing beautiful, except I noticed the other day, of course, I have powdery mildew because it's all over everything here, which sucks. Like, look at that one going out into the horse pasture. There's another big pumpkin in there. So these I kind of did the same thing where I just put down a row of weed barrier, and as you can see, it kind of grew out of there, and so there's weeds all entwined in here with the pumpkins. I hope these pumpkins grow fast because there's so many of them, and look at these are not doing well with the powdery mildew crap. So not good. I hope these pumpkins make it. Here is another beautiful head of cabbage in here. Some more cabbage over here. This row over here, those ones we just went down with the cabbage and the tomatoes, those were plants that were in the greenhouse and nobody wanted them, and I didn't really have time to plant them, but so I finally one day was like, they either have to die or I need to plant them. So I just dug a row, got out the tractor, dug a row, and planted the stuff, and I, like, if it dies, it dies, whatever. And all of this stuff is just doing gorgeous. It's beautiful. Some more tomatoes. And to think, I almost let all these plants die, and look at all the tomatoes on them. Thousands. A little more cabbage. I hope these finish. There's one that looks ready. Yum. Okay, so let's talk about the cantaloupe. There was a row of cantaloupe here. Gave up on that. It was not happening. So then I tried watermelon and planted a row of watermelon here. Again, not happening. I even put down some weed barrier because they were so buried. I thought, maybe with weed barrier they'll make it, and they grew a little bit, but nope. I had 2 watermelons back here, but they got strangled out. This one's got little flowers on it, but even if they would grow right now, they wouldn't make it. So I am gonna just, I think, just take them out. This is the one that had 2 watermelons on it over here. Still has some flowers. It's trying, but it's just not gonna make it. Like I said, it's already September, so if they grow, they're not gonna make it. They would never get big enough. There was watermelon in there. You can't see it. So this whole half is terrible. Nothing grew right, and the weeds were absolutely ridiculous over here. So this whole section, I just need to redo this whole section. That stuff over there grew nice with the weeds. There's one more watermelon in there. See, this is ridiculous. But there's so many weeds over here. I gotta work on weed control over here, getting rid of some of the weed seeds. These weeds had onions in them. See, there's one right there. You can hardly see it, but it's there. So, see? Here we go. Oh, there. See? Pull the onion out. Onions, they taste pretty good, but they didn't grow very big. But I had never grown onions, so I didn't really know how to grow onions. I have a better idea for next year. It should go better. Okay, let's go back over here to our second row. Okay, tomatoes. Tried the twirly thing, not great for tomatoes. Tower, that one's doing okay. There's some big tomatoes on there. This stuff is, I think this is just mulch on here. So I think that's why it's a lot of weeds in there. This is kind of fun right in here because I did something different here. I had some old clothes and I cut them up. They were old smelly clothes, And I cut them up and I put them under the mulch, and it actually is doing pretty good. Kind of surprised. That's all the old clothes in there. So old clothes work okay in a pinch. I think this is, I'm pretty sure that there is a tomato hornworm in here because there's little droppings right here. You can see them. These things are so big, and you can see that something ate this one. So we're gonna come out here tonight with a black light and see if we can find it. Because all of these plants are looking a little short. So I'm not sure if it's in there or if they're just fell over. I think that's still, oh yeah, it's the clothes in there. Surprisingly, I can't believe that worked as well as it did, but gotta be careful if I till it up though. Here we have some beets in here. It was a weird kind of beets. They kind of grew with this weird like skin on them. I don't know. I don't eat beets. Okay, now here, this I'm finding interesting. This right here, I don't know why these plants are very little and they have a lot of disease on them. And these plants, underneath these plants is cardboard, under the mulch is cardboard, and some of that brown, the wrapping paper kind of stuff. Just the thin that you'd use in packing kind of. And yeah, these plants are all, and they were doing really well before I did that. So I don't know, I'm not sure what to think of that, but it makes me not want to use much cardboard anymore. This, I'm not sure what's underneath here. Excuse me. I think this is more cardboard, and they all have this little disease on the bottom, so I'm going to be real careful with that next year. I want to say by far the best has been the weed barrier paper. This is mulch. I put straw down and then the mulch, and that did okay. There's still a lot of weeds around here, but it did okay. There's also cardboard under here. I don't know. It's all right. There's still a lot of holes, so not crazy about that. I got beets in here. Oh, sorry. I never got the mulch around the beets, so they're kind of buried in the weeds there. And there's the zucchini. Okay, now let's talk about cucumbers. Getting over a little COVID here. These cucumbers did like ridiculously well unexpectedly this year, but powdery mildew has taken over. I can't believe how many cucumbers are still growing in the powdery mildew plants, because as you can see, they do not look well. But look here's one. I just saw one here. There's one right there. There's a whole bunch over there. Look there's a great big one over there. There's a big one over here. Here's another one. So I'm not sure how they're growing as well as they are, as dead as they are. So I also have one white one over there. I had quite a few white cucumbers this year. I read that just means that they had too much water or something. But there's also a kind. Yeah. See, here's some more cucumber. Here's a bigger one here too. So yeah, they are. It's amazing to me how much they're growing. It's as bad as these plants look. Let's see in here. And what I did with these was there's weed barrier, not under this section. This is just mulch. Somewhere in here there is weed barrier in there. But it wasn't wide enough, and I did this PVC kind of trellis. Did not work. I'll never do that again. I've actually started buying some panels that will hold the cucumbers because they do grow so well here. So I also have this little trellis I'm testing out. I planted these really late, like the middle of July, but it was just to test this trellis. This seems to be working okay. I mean, they're gripping on. So I might pick up more of those too. I do kind of like these. They're just kind of little considering how big the garden is. So that's why I got one of these panels. But maybe I'll get a couple panels. I mean, I'm planning on a couple panels, but maybe I can somehow set the panels up like this. We'll see. I was just going to put it right down the middle and then plant cucumbers on each side of it. We'll see how that goes. Pepper plants just do beautiful here. Tomatoes, more test. This is more cardboard under mulch. Look at the plants. They're terrible. I don't know, maybe it's the mulch. I don't know, but it seems to be everywhere I have cardboard. It looks bad like this. So I think I'm going to use any cardboard next year doing this. This is super cool. I don't even know where this came from, but this is like a tomato plant. I have no idea where it came from, but look how cool those are. Okay, grasshoppers. Ugh, look at those grasshoppers. They're everywhere. Alright, so there's peppers in there. That one looks like it's going to turn red. Here's some beautiful red tomatoes that are all rotten and eaten, so I'm not going to pick those. Here, this was just straw. Terrible. Not just do straw again. This is more cardboard. See? More cardboard. Look at that. More of that same yellowing leaves. I don't know what they're putting in cardboard, but it is not good for the plants. And I would wonder if it was the mulch, but I mean, this has that same mulch, and there's a little yellowing, but it's not nearly as bad. And then here we have, there's some there. I don't know. I'm thinking it's the cardboard under the, because it's everywhere that I have the cardboard. It's bad. And look at how beautiful these are. This is the same kind of mulch, and these pepper plants are doing marvelous. So here, there. Look at that. There's like 3 on here. 3, 4. That one's got 4. This one's got a couple. Yeah, people say peppers are hard to grow, but they're doing so great here. Half of these are jalapenos, half of them are just green peppers. Look at it. There's a whole bunch more jalapenos in here. There's green pepper. Look at that big one there. See, they are just, they're doing great. I can't believe how well the jalapenos are doing. Look at all of those. There's a whole bunch on that plant. Ooh, that one's got a spider. Yeah, so I've got all these. Okay, we're getting there. These are some more the tomato plants that were not doing great. They were in the greenhouse too long. They're doing okay. They have tomatoes. There's so many weeds you can't even see them, so I can't believe they even have any tomatoes. There's more here. Again, there's so many weeds. Can't even see the tomatoes hardly. I have this little batch that I mulched. It's nice. Still a lot of weeds that are on the edges. Weed paper, a little brown at the bottom, but not bad. Like that. And then lastly, we have snap peas. Okay, I don't know why in the world I put snap peas in a long line like this. And then I tried to get the plants up with these stupid little teepee things with bamboo sticks. Stupid. Oops. Yeah, this was really dumb. I didn't really know how to grow snap peas though, so next year things will be very different out here. Look at that, a whole bunch of them. See any plants on them? No, they all died. They all got some powdery mildew and everything died. And yeah, look at this. I even tried this like net trellis thing. Oh, that was super cool. Yeah, they did not like it one bit. So these twirly things that I have in the cucumbers right now, I actually bought for the snap peas for next year. I'm gonna have to disinfect them all because all this stuff over here has powdery mildew. The cucumbers, the snap peas, probably the zucchinis. They're just so unhealthy, those end ones. But yeah, so these poles I bought for next year for the snap peas, and we're gonna try that and see if that goes better than these stupid things. I'm hoping it goes better. And beans, I was hoping to do some beans next year. I just hope I can kill the disease off those poles now. I didn't even, plants were healthy when I put them in there, and I didn't even think about taking them out when they started dying. Yeah, so that is the garden. Look at this. That was the row in there. I even gave up trying to get in there because the weeds just overtook it so fast. They claimed it. I was sick for a week and a half, and this is what happened. So anyways, this is the garden, and next year will be very, very different. But I'm working on it here. I keep hearing about no-till, because apparently by tilling you're just putting the seeds underground and making more weeds, and I can't deal with these weeds anymore. So this is what I'm working on. So I'm working on a nice little compost pile here. Something I can just spread out over this, and hopefully we will, maybe in a couple years, we won't have quite as many weeds. Well, it's highly unlikely, but we'll see. Even if we could cut down, because like I said, this is ridiculous. Look at this. Oh. They're like 2 feet tall, and I can't even get them out of there. I even weed whacked them quite a few times, and they still overgrew it so quickly. Alright, so that's the garden. Those are some of my ideas for next year. I will not be doing rows next year. I kind of like the rows now, but I'm going to do more like square rectangle beds. Maybe see if that makes it easier to keep it weeded and to pick everything instead of walking up and down these long rows every day. So they're just ideas, and that's the garden. Have a great day. Bye.